I'm going to be talking about Lucifer, the morning star, and clear up its association with Venus, because a lot of people seem to think Lucifer is Venus, and no, it's not. Here's what it means. I'm driving home today, and it's sunset, and the sun just went down. I'm looking behind me. You've got the stars starting to come out. You still see that beautiful light in the sky, and I see the moon, and it's this nice horn-looking moon. It's a beautiful crescent. Looks like bull horns, and right below it is this beautiful star. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait, stars don't shine through light, but with one exception, and that is Venus. Venus is the only planet or star which can shine through dusk and dawn. No other star can do that. So at night, when the sun sets, Venus always follows the sun down. When in the morning time, when the sun rises in the east, Venus comes up right before the sun rises. Okay, and that is spiritually telling a story. It's a very powerful message right there, and I'm observing. And so, if you have heard that Venus is in the occult associated with Lucifer, the morning star, what do you know about Lucifer? Okay, well, Lucifer was the brightest of all God's angels, right? He was the general, his right-hand man. And so God is symbolic for the sun. And Venus, in this case, in this story's context, is symbolic for Lucifer. Lucifer being the general, it's pretty easy to understand once you know something about generals and about kings too. In a king's army, he's got a general, right? Well, the king has the general lead. Whenever the king is traveling, going about to travel, so the sun is traveling, right? He's got his king, or his general. The king is traveling, so the general Lucifer is going before him to make sure everything is safe before king comes, right? So he's protected. Makes sense? And it's interesting that he comes up before the sun, and then, or the Venus goes and sets right after the sun. And so that's basically all it is. It's that story, okay? Because Lucifer is associated with God's brightest angel. No other planet or star can shine through dusk and dawn. All right? That's why. It's not the physical planet Venus. Not to be confused with Aphrodite or that Venetian feminine energy. It is just the relationship in that story there, that context. I'm trying to tell you, Lucifer being the brightest, most powerful angel of God, controlled 1/3 of his angels. He was a general. That's all it's telling, that story. So if you know the characters, you can start to observe, and it's like you're watching a drama on TV. And literally, that's what it is. It's telling a story. It's really cool. But you gotta know the characters. And so what I use as a metaphor and to explain this, and I think it's more than just a metaphor, but I'm just going to say that for those of you who don't know it as a metaphor, or as just think that they're just made up characters. Well, I speak English, and so I use European stories and that culture and that way of communicating. Why? Because that's what I use. That's what I know. That's what I'm familiar with. So that's why. I have those tools available to me, so I could properly navigate and communicate. I don't understand why people don't want to use the English language, and they want to use words and terms that then they don't even speak that language, like Asian or Hindu. And I'm not saying in all cases, but most, they don't even nobody understands what those words mean, because those languages aren't alive anymore. They're dead, basically, meaning they're not growing. There's no new vocabulary words added to Latin, to Spanish. That's why you hear Spanish people saying, or Broadway and Pepsi Cola and you know, they use all these different words, and same thing with the Greek language, same thing with all languages. English is the only one that's added vocabulary words to itself, to the English language. Every year, thousands of new words are added to it, so it's alive, and it's different language. It's a different language than all the others, because the other languages depend on the context and how you say it. Doesn't matter what you say, it's how you say it. You could say, like, hi, which means, hey, how you doing, buddy? And then you could say, hi! And then that could mean, like, fuck you. You know, it's the emotion in the words. The English language doesn't do that because it has a bazillion and one ways to say one thing, you know. So, just a little food for thought there about Venus. I thought that was interesting. But, yeah, I use the English language. And so if you speak English, you know, shouldn't have a problem with it. A lot of people just don't like, you know, the English stories, European astrology and stuff, because they just, you know, don't have any good experiences with it. So they like exotic, you know, stories and words like Kundalini and Chi and Yin and Yang, and which are great ways of communicating. However, a lot of people don't even know what Chi is, or Kundalini, you know, or Yin and Yang, or they don't know what these words mean. It's because you don't understand the culture and the language. That's why you have no, you know, foundation. You know, you're in a foreign land. So, in this case, I use a lot of European stuff.